Hey, what's going on, everybody? David Noe with Speak Easy HR, presented by Payroll Partners. It's February. It's Groundhog Day. Apparently, we have another 6 weeks of winter. I'm not a fan of that, but hey, we can't do much about that. What that groundhog sees every year, but it's cool. It's all good. I've got an awesome guest on my show today. Tim Sackett. If you don't know much about AI with HR and technology, this is your guy. Tim, welcome, my friend. How are you?
I'm great, Matt. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, and I know we've connected over the years, and now when I asked you to come on this show, you were like, "Yeah, let's do it." So you
Yeah.
were excited, and just like every other guest, I kind of ask about like what's in your world, what are you seeing, and I want you to tell us all that you know about this world of AI and specifically on the recruiting side. But yeah, we'll dive into this topic. Again, my name is David Noe. I am the editor, host, producer of this awesome podcast I started last year. And Tim, you are with a company called HRU Technical Resources.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So here's the funny thing. So the HR, everyone's like, what's HRU stand for? It's Human Resources Unlimited. So Mother started the company 46 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And at the time, it was just called Human Resources Unlimited, right? Because that was Human Resources 45 years ago. That was that was like the cool term 45 years ago.
Yeah.
And then, and it was all done in like staffing, and it was technical staffing, but like no one knew technical staffing then. That wasn't even a concept.
Okay.
Doing engineering work, and at some point, started took off, started doing a lot of technical stuff, and then none of the other kind of traditional staffing. So she was like, "Oh, so now we have to add technical." So literally the official name of the company, which I would tease her about constantly, Human Resources Unlimited Technical Resources. You have resources in there twice. No one does that. She's like, well, no, but no one says that. It's HRU. And so literally now, like the URL is just HRU Tech. So when someone asks me like, where do I work? I go, it's HRU Tech. And they're like, what's that? And you're like, it's technical staffing,
Yeah. There you go. I
I've
love it.
actually owned the company the last 5 years, ran the company the last 12, 13 years. So yeah, but yeah, it was, kind of a family business. So
Yeah.
I tell
Love it.
people, like, I remember my parents got divorced when I was really young. I remember my sister and I, when my mother started this, it was after divorce,
Okay.
and we lived with her, and like, we literally, she was the old school, like staffing person, like on the phone, like writing, doing this, when my sister and I were watching like TV with no sound on. And then she would pay us 5 cents for every envelope that she would address it, and we would just have to lick it and stamp it. That was
Wow.
our job as like 5-year-olds, 8-year-old. My sister was a little older than me. So
There you go. So you've been around for a while with it. That's awesome. Congrats on the especially the last few years working through COVID and running the business, and I'm sure that's brought challenges your way. So
yeah, no, I mean, again, like we were based out of Lansing, Michigan, and never really like traditional, like in office company. Like we were, but like not on purpose kind of thing. It was just like, oh, here's the company.
right.
We actually do stuff nationally all over. So
Yeah.
like we have contractors in like 27 states, but like when COVID hit and we went like remote, it was kind of an awakening. One is I learned myself, I like to be in the office. I hate being at home.
Yeah.
So we own the building. So I would just come in, and then I had 2 or 3 others that were like, "Hey, dude, like I'm dying being at home. I can't be at home. Is there enough space? Can we can I come in?" So for like, what was it, like months? I mean, it seemed like, and I talked to these employees still about like how great that was. That there was like 4 of us that would come into the entire, like that was like our sanctuary. Like it was,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
the only people we talked to. Like we could got so much done because nobody, the route, like it wasn't filled. Like it was crazy.
Yeah. That's similar to what I was dealing with in COVID. It was myself, the owner, the IT, and I had to get the mail every day. And there was a big building, just all the lights were off all the time. And I'd come in for a few hours and say hi to the few people. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
we're past that time now. But yeah, we're live on LinkedIn and YouTube, Tim. We've got a lot of people actually watching. So if you are watching live, comment where you're watching. If you have a question, we will be taking those questions as we dive into this topic. But one of the things I like to do just to get to know the guests a little bit more, play a fun game called the world famous envelope icebreaker game.
Yeah.
It's a mouthful. Should have made a shorter name for it, but yeah, let's get to it real quick, and we'll let you pick a few numbers here.
Sweet.
Let me see if this will pop up real quick. Hold on. It's thinking. Gotta love technology. Well, there we go. Little segue. It didn't work very well. So
It
one.
worked twice for me. So there you go.
Uh-huh.
It worked twice for me.
It worked twice for you. Nice. I can't see that on my end. All right. 1 through 15, Tim.
What's the least number picked? Or do we do more than one?
We can do more than one.
All right, let's do one. We'll start with number 1.
Number 1. I don't think anyone's picked number 1.
I know. People are lame.
Everyone picks like 7.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this question.
Sweet.
You're going to love it. You're going to love it too.
Yes.
Greatest rapper of all time.
Oh, gosh. I actually did an entire... This is the fun one. So I'll tell you my rapper, but I did an entire presentation on the rap lyrics that shaped my leadership style.
What?
25 greatest rap lyrics. And I actually did it as a goof, put it out on like LinkedIn, SlideShare, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I had a local SHRM chapter from a city actually asked me come do it. And I'm like, oh, heck yeah, I'm there. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And then you show up and you realize there's like 35 white women sitting in a room that you're about to launch into 25 rap lyrics about leadership. And at that point you go, okay, now I'm in trouble. Like I'm in big trouble here from that. So I love Eminem. I would say he's my favorite. Detroit, Michigan. I'm Michigan. Clearly somebody I like, but I can go deep on the rap side.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of them. I saw that was on Family Feud, and it was one of the questions, and I don't know. Before I started this podcast, I saw like a clip of that episode about the best rapper of all time, and I'm like, that's a great question.
It's one of those things too where I'm old enough where like rap started right when I was coming kind of through like high school, like junior high, where it really hit. And then so you got like Tupac and Biggie and like all these kind of original, ones that are out there all the way through like Jay-Z. And like I grew up in a city school, very diverse, and like it was just hip hop and rap were like the music I listened to all the way through still today.
Yeah.
And funny enough, I actually listen to a lot of country right now. And I think there's a lot of similarities to rap because it's storytelling.
Yep.
Which I love,
Yep. Well, I live in Kentucky. We listen to country, but we listen to more than just country. So I obviously didn't grow up listening to country in Michigan. I grew up down the street from you. Well, not really down the street, but in Southeast Michigan, and grew up with Eminem, Kid Rock, those guys. But yeah, Beastie Boys and some of the
Beasties was great. Yeah.
Yeah. They just, they've changed over the years, but, all right. What's one more number outside of the rapper question? I want to see what else you get. 1 through 15.
Go the opposite end.
Interesting. Okay.
Who's your favorite pop singer? No.
Well, I mean, you're going with the music questions. This one is, what was your favorite band growing up? So it's got to be obviously. I
hung out. Most of the kids I hung out with, like it was like the rock music, big hair era. Like so,
okay.
I would have to go. Oh man, I see. It was before grunge, so it wasn't that. I want to go like maybe like Def Leppard or someone like that. Like that was the kind of music that like I think was like in the band era. Like if it wasn't rap and there was big bands, it was all rock bands. Big hair bands.
Yeah. Well, I grew up, playing ice hockey actually in Michigan. So like I had this whole mix of Beastie Boys and all kinds of stuff to get ready for, getting our butts kicked against a team from Canada or something. It was like we couldn't keep up in high school with some of those kids. They're built different in Canada. So
hey, but like now that we're on the music topic, I actually went and saw Taylor Swift last year at the Eras Tour. In Detroit. Yeah. And I want a documentary made on how they keep that woman alive. Like whether you like her music or not, what
Yeah.
an amazing performance to be out there 3.5 hours, the costume changes, like just, I mean, and she doesn't look like someone that's like cardiovascular, like she's not ripped like an athlete, right? So
Right.
you're thinking
Right.
like, but then like in some of these like cities she would go to, like LA, it was 5 nights in a row.
Yeah.
I'm like, there is no possible way. Like she has to be, they have to put her in a chamber or something afterwards and like put tubes in her. Like how do they keep her healthy and alive? I have no idea.
Yeah. It's incredible. I mean, just anybody that goes around the world and tours and just does these performances is like, just, I mean, that's why you and I don't do it, Tim. You know,
Yeah.
we're not
And it's one thing to like, I mean, to be able to be a world-class like talent,
right.
but then to perform and entertain for that long too. Like it's just, it's draining. Like
Yeah.
I'm just like when she said, like, she's like, yeah, we're done. And I'm like, yeah, like, I mean, I've made $100 billion or whatever. I'm done. Like, okay, cool. Like good
Yeah.
for you. And it was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's awesome. So we are live on LinkedIn and YouTube. If you have questions, it looks like the chat is open. I've got one gentleman that put in a question, so I'm going to ping this in a minute once we start getting into your topic. But before we dive into your topic, just want to bring up a little bit about payroll partners. And I'm going
Did you
to
know
play
that
this. Hopefully it
1
works.
out of
It's
3
30 seconds.
employers
Let's
make
see.
payroll errors each year? And that 37% of those mistakes are from manual data entry? This means billions of dollars are lost each year. At Payroll Partners, we eliminate those costly mistakes with award-winning HCM technology that's easy to use. Backed by a team of experts, we make payroll seamless and stress-free. We put people behind your payroll.
Did I play just once for you? Did it play twice?
Once. When perfect. David, I tell people all the time, like payroll is one of those things like it's like in HR, that's like you're expected to be error free. It's like you're making the donuts. It's a thing we do. We do it every week, blah, blah, blah. So yeah.
Yeah,
and then when you do make an error, like you're like, oh, hey, somehow we overpaid you by $1 million. Somehow an employee thinks they can keep it, which I think is the funniest thing ever. Like, you know, it's like when when the government makes those like tax errors and someone gets like a $13 million check, you don't get to keep that money.
Yeah,
it's an error, man.
Right. Yeah. No, we look to ourselves like an offensive lineman in football. You've got to play without getting penalized, and you've got to play 99% of the time.
Tackle.
You can block, be fine. And so, yeah, we have a great team. We look to ourselves as like payroll architects because we can build a system that works for businesses. And it's been almost 3 years I've been there. It's been an awesome journey. So, and I get to talk to people like you and get to know more about what you do in your world. So, Tim, a question came through from Tom. He said, what's your favorite topic to talk about when keynoting at a conference?
Number one, like, I think like my expertise is in recruiting, like deep knowledge, especially in, because I worked, like part of my career in like traditional staffing, world, but also part of my career in traditional corporate talent acquisition. And then about the other third in like traditional HR. But I just have always had a passion around recruiting. So being able to get in and help individuals recruit, like I think it's one of those things when you talk to like executives, it's a constant like, hey, we're struggling to find great talent. It's always that conversation, right? And I'm always like, oh my gosh, like I can do that. I can help, and not even like I can help by just coming in and giving you a staffing service. Like anybody can do that. There's 9,000 staffing companies in the world, right? I can actually really break down I can teach you how to fish better, right? I can break down your tech stack, your process, everything, and leave there going, you can recruit world-class. And you're like, oh, you don't understand. Like, we don't have a brand. It doesn't matter. You can recruit world-class. And I truly, honestly feel I can do that and give people. So like, no matter what I'm talking about, people are going to leave there going, holy crap, I have 10 things I wrote down that I think we could do tomorrow. I would say that's my favorite. Secondly, I get a lot of requests into talking about like kind of development of HR leaders. So as you think about any HR person, I'm an HR generalist, but one day I want to be a manager. I'm a manager. I want to be a director, blah, blah, blah. I get a lot of like talking about that growth of like, how do I move up? Like and so part of that is based on some research I did where I went out and asked C-suite executives to name the best HR person they've ever worked for, and then these traits that all these people had. And we did that and got just a ton of data. And it was fascinating to hear what they considered their best HR person versus if you would go to HR leaders and say, okay, what does it mean to be a great HR leader? Those traits don't line up. Right. No. Some do, but for the most part, no. And so for me, because it was one of the things when I worked on the corporate side of HR, I constantly got executives, and I was just in unique positions where I got to travel a lot with executives. They would go, "You're unlike every HR person we've ever worked with." And they weren't saying that in a negative way. It was a positive way. Yeah. And so then I wanted to, because I didn't know any better. So I'm like, well, what do you mean? I don't understand. Like, why? Yeah. And they were just like, bam, 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 all these things. And so
life is too short not to work on solving cool problems with interesting people, and recruiting allows us to do both. I'm Brando, host of the Rebel TA podcast, a show where we share stories with people and talent leaders who are on a mission to empower the candidate-employer relationship in the future of work.
It was one of those things that I became passionate around to find out, like, well, why do I think differently than that? And part of it was I didn't come out of a traditional HR background. I came out of a business background.
Right.
And so for me, it was just more thinking of that. And then went out and got all the certifications and the education, got my master's in HR and SHRM certified and blah, blah, blah. And so I got the educational expertise, but I had come out of a different world. I didn't come out of traditional HR, you know?
Yeah. Everyone's path in HR is different, you know? Tom added, he said, I did a short 10-minute presentation titled Top 10 Networking Tips Based on 80s One-Hit Wonder Song Titles.
I want to, either Tom, you and I have talked about that, or I actually saw you do that at, was it National or somewhere? I can't remember where it was, but I thought maybe awesome. It seemed, to my mind, seemed like I saw part of that, but we might have just talked about it.
Yeah. That's awesome. So yeah, you went to Central Michigan, got your master's in HR there.
Yeah.
So you're a Chippewa. Is that a Chippewa?
Yeah. Fire up chips.
There you go. Fire up chips. And so you kind of went through your path through HR and how it all started, which again, everyone's different, right? Like I started out in a benefit consultant role, and I got to know a bunch of small business owners, and I'm like, man, they deal with a lot of stuff that, what is that? What is that? Oh, it's HR. It's hiring people, and you got to fire people, and you got to like develop people. And it's like, dang, they do a lot, you know? It's like, but now there's more and more technology, there's AI. And now it's like, how can you leverage that for your company, which is really right now, AI is a big topic.
Yeah.
And that's really what we want to talk about today, because that's when I talked to you about your topic and you said, we're asking the wrong questions about AI and talent.
Yeah.
So we got to know the right questions, and we got to know the right ones to really think about everybody's personal situation in their business to figure out what you can do. So let's dive into that a little bit. So get the one big out of the way right off the bat. And will AI take our jobs?
Yeah. Could I just say yes and then period? No. I think that's one of the questions that, you know, that we're asking that's wrong. But I do think, like, if your job is the tactical part where anything you like are just like, hey, I spend most day on my keyboard and I'm click-clacking away to move this to this and align this to that. And, you know, it's really just tactical work.
Yeah.
AI will do that 24/7. They'll do it better. They'll do it error-free. And they'll never complain about that. And so those jobs and that kind of work is going away. And I think that's, you know, so that's one of the big, you know, questions that we get asked that I think is wrong. The other one, you know, that I see all the time is like, well, is AI biased, you know? And part of it is built on a lack of awareness of what AI really is and isn't, right? And so there's part of this where you go, well, 10 years ago, I saw this tech company, and they're in the Wall Street Journal, and they got sued by the state of Illinois and blah, blah, blah. And you were like, okay, that was early onset machine learning AI built into some HR stuff. It was in beta, wasn't even live, right? And what we learned, and even then, it was a misunderstanding of what AI is and isn't. So it was like, oh, AI is biased. And you're like, well, the way machine learning works is it just replicates something that you want over time. So if you're going to hire at volume and you say, okay, well, we're going to hire 100 people, machine learning would look at all the people that you hired and said, okay, well, I can give you more of those. And so then you go, so it wasn't the AI that was biased. It was the hiring managers that were hiring that were biased. Like the machine, they taught the AI, hey, we don't like women. And it said, okay, cool. It never questioned whether it should or shouldn't, right?
Right.
Because again, it was a very simple tree of like what it could do. It was just like, hey, I see that you're hiring this. You must want more of this. Here you go. And we were like, everybody lost their mind and said, AI is the problem. AI wasn't the problem. AI did exactly what it should have done based on the training and learning, right? And so then Gen AI comes around, and then we start to see, oh, we can actually tell it, hey, even though the hiring manager only wants to hire men, no, we need to have a very inclusive set that we give. And then when that manager again only selects men to interview, we'll be the ones that pound them on that, with a hammer on the head and say, no, you can't do that. Yeah. And so I think that those are the things that we keep asking about AI. And my thing is, like, if you really understood where AI is and where it's going and how fast it's moving, and you said the question should be, if tomorrow a switch was flipped and 75% of my current workload went away in HR, what could we be doing? What should we be doing? Right. What's the amazing work that we've said for decade after decade that, oh, if we could only do this, this would be cool. And then we spend all day fighting fires and doing, the work we do. And we never have time for the really cool stuff because it's going to happen. The work will go away. It won't be like a light switch, right? Every little, payroll system, HCM system, recruiting system, little by little is going to layer in these features of AI that little by little will take away, pieces of work that we do. But, 12 months from now, 36 months from now, whatever, we're all of a sudden one day you're going to wake up and go, my job is drastically different than what it was 2 or 3 years ago. Right. And so I think it's critical for us to go, because if we don't answer that question now, your CFO, your CEO, people are going to come to you and say, hey, we put in this AI. You no longer have to do 50% of your work, 25% of your work. So we need some heads. We need custom heads. Right. Instead of going, hey, that's cool that you did that with that extra capacity. Here's what we've actually turned that into, right? We've actually turned this into a really kind of human-based retention system where we're having big conversations with our highest performing employees, and we're going to show that we're not going to allow them to turn over. We have a save strategy in place, or in recruiting, hey, now that I don't have to do all of this kind of sourcing and screening, we're actually going to hunt the best talent in our marketplace, and we're going to come to you on a monthly basis and show you the people that we have in our competitors that we're actually nurturing right now to come work for us. Like, there's some really cool stuff we could do. That's a higher level work that's hard for AI to actually do. Yeah. And I think those are the things. And again, I'm just giving like 2 or 3 examples. Like there's unlimited numbers of examples based on your company, your culture, what you're doing, but we're not even having those conversations. We're almost like we're just sticking our head in the sand going, well, when it happens, I hope I'm still have a job. I hope I'm the one turning AI on in the morning. You're like, come on, they don't even need that, Yeah.
Someone told me that has been studying AI for 18 years. She said jobs that are available in 2030, 85% of those jobs haven't even been created yet.
For sure. That's every technical revolution is like that.
And it's just like mind-boggling to think. I mean, it's 2025. Yeah. So in 5 years, so if someone's watching and they're 25 years old, you're going to turn 30, and the jobs right now that are available, you're going to have a whole heck of a lot more opportunities just in the tech world. It's crazy.
David, like you'll love this on the benefit side, especially, right? It's like I was speaking to a group of CHROs late last year, and I told them, I said, do you agree with the statement that you don't care about the health of your employees? 100% said, no, we definitely care about the health of our employees. Right. And like, so tell me one active thing you've done to actually help your employees to become more healthy. And then all of a sudden there's a struggle. It's like, oh, well, we have this benefit that like, well, yeah. But no, if you truly cared about the physical and mental wellness of your employees, right? What could you do?
Yeah.
And then like, and if you like take away the barriers that we have today and the work that we have today, like you're like all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, I could hold, a lunch, yoga or a mindfulness, or we could do these things. And, we could actually, like get out and actually meet and coach, our employees that are struggling with obesity and blah, blah, blah. And like, there's so many things, right? We could actually design an insurance program that actually rewarded people for healthy behaviors and, and all these things. Right. And like, I go back to, there was an example like 15 years ago of a company, and it went all the way to the Supreme Court, and the company won, which is, if you smoke cigarettes, you can't work here. And if we catch you smoking cigarettes, if you test positive for tobacco, we're going to fire you. We won't hire you, one, because you have to do pre-employment testing, and we're going to periodically test you throughout. And because they said, look, it's making our insurance skyrocket. It's making you unhealthy, right?
Yep.
And we care about you. We actually care about your health as an employee. So we're not going to allow it. People lost their minds, freedom of choice and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, so if your employee was sitting at their desk with a gun in their mouth, do you think that's freedom of choice? Or should you do something? What's the difference between the gun and the cigarette? One just kills you faster than the other, right? And it's like one of those things is like, we have to change the dynamic around how we think about HR and the things we could do. Right. And when you start to like uncap that, like, and then you see HROs, like we had amazing conversation the rest of the day. Like you were just like, holy crap. Like there's so many things we could do. And then the reality is like, well, is they actually going to take that work away?
Right.
I think it will.
I just, for me, using the technology available, when it comes to recruiting, I just want to help my organization, and I'm sure everybody else, hire better people, hire the right people. You don't have a crystal ball. You can't determine if someone's going to stay for 3-5 years. Everyone job hops, and they leave because of bad bosses, and they leave because of no opportunities. So, can you predict better if someone's going to work out? Probably. There's a lot of tools out there to do that beyond just doing an interview with somebody. But if AI is going to transform the way HR and businesses operate, there's going to be a lot more opportunity than's available today. Like, when the World Wide Web came out and, everyone's like, oh my gosh, this is going to take our jobs away. And look what happened.
More jobs.
So
there's only two things that actually hold an employee to a company that are measurable, right? One is, do you overpay the employees? Are you pay leader in the market where they want to work?
Right.
If you do that, you're going to have very high tenure, low turnover. The other one is, do you have a best friend at work? It's the one thing that Gallup got right in 2 decades, 3 decades. And so I always ask like heads of HR, I'm like, which one can you control?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I can like none of those. Like my CFO tells us how much we pay, and I can't like make someone have a best friend. I'm like, are you sure? Like, and then I go, how did you find your best friend? Who's your best friend? It comes in their head. Do you remember the moment you met them? And did you go, oh my God, they're going to be my best friend? No, you didn't. You didn't know that. No. I said, so we're in this unique position where we can actually create moments where you're going to meet other people in your company. Do I know that's going to be a best friend? I don't, but I know if I create enough moments, the potential for you to create a best friend becomes very high.
Yeah.
And so again, stop thinking like a traditional HR person and think like a futurist, and start connecting the dots. What's going to keep people here? What can I do about that? And then go do it. Like, I don't know. Like, it's like, to me, it's some of this stuff is really easy to think about. Operationally, can we pull it off? I don't know. I mean, the HR people were yelling at me. They're like, oh my God, Tim, now I need to be a creator of best friends at work. Like, that's my job. Yeah. And I'm like, maybe. And to me, that sounds like an amazing job.
Yeah.
If I was known as the person that creates best friends, I'd be like, that's the coolest job I've ever heard of.
Oh, man. A couple other questions came in that I wanted to bring up, Tim, as we talk. Former colleague of mine, thanks for watching. She said AI will be taking over a lot of the entry-level IT support desk work. I see a shift in the way IT is supplied in many businesses. One large opportunity in cybersecurity, even HR professionals are entering CS to assist with compliance and the person behind the wrongful hacking. It got clipped, but yeah, that's definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
Another one came in, Colin. What do you think companies that rolled back DEI will fare over the next several years with all the studies around building diverse and the positive impact on revenue? Why go against it by getting rid of DEI? Yeah.
So Colin, again, this is kind of controversial, but if you go back to where all the data came around this, that DE&I creates more revenue. It was from a McKinsey study about a decade ago, and actually Harvard Business Review. They looked at 1,900 studies that tried to replicate the McKinsey numbers. 0 out of 1,900 were able to do that. So the McKinsey study was flawed, and now people understand that it was actually broken. Having a more diverse culture actually, or a more diverse company, doesn't actually drive revenue. There's no direct study that actually has proven that. I'm not saying I'm against D&I. I actually am for it. And I think, we should be more inclusive, and I think we should go out, because to me, this is all about talent. If I'm hiring from a pool of just white dudes, or I'm hiring from a pool of everybody, exponentially, I have a more chance of hiring better talent by being more inclusive. Right. So to me, there's the positive side of this. We have to be, but we also have to be, very critical around kind of what this is and what this isn't. Google will go, well, there's not enough female software engineers. Google could have solved that, but you're not going to solve it at the adult learning. You have to solve that in elementary school, and they could have created STEM, all female elementary schools all the way through college. They could have flooded the market where we could have been right now, after a couple of decades of knowing this is an issue. We actually have more female software engineers than male software engineers. That easily could have happened. Why don't we do that? Again, this is a kind of an HR issue that we go, well, because our leaders go, I can't guarantee if I put that investment, that investment's all going to come back to our company. Companies are going to go out and hire. So then you go, okay, well, wait a minute. Why can't all companies come in and do this and put it in? Right. Same thing. No one can agree. And this is all private. And this is kind of the good and the bad of the capitalist society, right? Where you go, hey, we think the government and public education should actually do this. Turns out they suck at it as well, right? So this is a real dilemma. So like if I'm an HR leader, do I want to build this kind of avenue and runway for my market, within my market, to get out into public school systems and start my own kind of white collar, trades program, whatever that might be? Yep. I think those are the things that we should be looking at, right? Yep. So the companies that eliminate DE&I, if they do it for nefarious reasons, that they just think like white people are better, that's a terrible company. They're not going to do well. Right. If they do it going, hey, I think there's a better way to spend this money to continue this process. Like, I'm also very hopeful that, think about it, if we solve DE&I, whatever the problems we think DE&I has, if we solved it, what's that next evolution? Yeah. And I have a lot of like DE&I professors that I work with that said, hey, Tim, like all this MEI, or like the merit excellence, whatever, the new thing is, right? He's like, actually, that was always the case. It wasn't about hiring less like people that were less performing, that were diverse. It was saying, hey, how do we hire as performative or better in that are diverse, right? So the merit was always a part of this. It was never not a part of this. And that was one of the things we've lost sense of. Even, I just think it was, bad marketing maybe along the way to say, hey, somehow, diversity became equated to hiring low performers. That's not what this was, right? Yeah. Or should be.
Yeah. So how do we become more educated about AI in HR?
Yeah, great question. I tell people all the time, like, you should be demoing technology. You should be going out on a semi-annual basis to the technology that you use and say, hey, I want to talk about your roadmap. I want to see what you're working on. I want you to show me the newest things that we're not using. Because they're going to educate you. They're going to tell you, like, okay, we have this thing, but it's AI. We can put you in beta and you could be a tester, and, really dig in and teach you, like, well, what do you mean? Okay, so you said AI, but what kind of AI? And what I find is so many legal teams, like, and security teams, like, immediately go, we can't use AI. And then, like, so it means you're not using AI. And you're like, you're using AI every day. You're using AI in your office programs, like at Microsoft. You're using AI in your cell phones. Like, right. You're already using AI. The question is, do you believe the AI that you're going to use is actually safe and productive? And, there's a risk reward kind of benefit there for it. Right. So to me, I'm like, go out and demo, learn, understand what's out there, what's not out there. There's so many AI, advances. For at the very least, go out and log into Chat GPT and ask it dumb questions, you know?
Yeah.
See what happens. Like, it's amazing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It is. There are times where I'm like, I have a hard time, even for this show, coming up with good questions.
Oh yeah.
And it's crazy how I just go in and I say, here's the topic. Here's what we want to, you know, come up with questions to really get a good conversation together. And I don't always know the greatest questions. Like if someone asks me like, what are good interview questions for a tax job? Well, they're probably going to be a little different than a position in, you know, sales and, you know, HR. So when it comes to like generating just a list of ideas or collaboration topic, you know, questions around a podcast, it's amazing how fast it'll just spit out these questions. And I'm like, wow, these are like, some of these are, you know, obvious, but some of them are like, wow, you know.
Oh yeah.
It's awesome.
It's not like I write all the time. Right. And so it's like one of those things where I will constantly like take it, put it into GPT, ask it to, you know, obviously just grammar check, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Sometimes like, you know, if I have something that's really verbose, like it's like, oh, I just wrote something that's 1,500 words. I really need to make it 750. And I'll just say, shrink this to 750 without losing any kind of context or meaning. And it's shocking at how well and concise it can be, you know, stuff like that. I saw Glenn Cathy, who's like a real good recruiter, kind of influencer out there, had the DeepSeek actually write Boolean strings to look for forklift drivers.
Yeah.
And it actually went through the process. DeepSeek shows like how it's thinking about it and then built. He was like, is it something that I would build? Like, no. Is it something better than a normal recruiter would build? 100%. Right. So it's like, it's in between that. Hey, not quite an expert in whatever category you might be an expert in.
Right.
But it's better than average. So it's, you know, it's clearly like moving up quickly.
So what are the other favorites that you have been working with for AI from a technical standpoint with what you're doing? Is there a few that you have found to be one that you go back to more and more outside of ChatGPT?
I'm a big X user, so Grok becomes one that's just easy. For me, what Grok has replaced is Google search. Like I no longer leave X. Like somebody will say something and I'm like, oh, I don't even know what that is, or I don't know where that location is, or it sparks me to think about something else. And instead of originally, I would always just go to Google, then Google it. And now I'll just go to Grok and ask, you know, Grok AI that within X, and I'm like immediately have the answer that I want without leaving the platform, which I think again is the way tech wants to design. We're going to see that within Workday, ADP, and think of any system you have. The system is going to be, how do we keep you from not leaving and get all your answers right here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that makes total sense. I was just checking the chat. Sorry. Yep. So what are we worried about in HR about AI that will be completely irrelevant in the next couple of years?
I think it's the bias piece. I think if I take a look at even where AI is today, AI is less biased than the vast majority of our hiring managers. Because one is I can't measure the bias of a hiring manager. I don't know what their unconscious bias is. I might know some of their conscious bias just because I'm paying attention. Within AI, I can actually audit for it and I audit for it on an hourly, daily basis and know, hey, by the way, it's actually showing a little bit of bias towards a certain school or certain industry, a certain gender, whatever. And like, it's not going to lie to me. There's no reason to do that, right? It's going to tell me exactly. Where if I go to a hiring manager and say, hey, by the way, I think you're a little sexist, or I think you're a little racist, immediately they're going to be defensive. No, I'm not. And even when you have data, and then what do? It's like, well, I kind of know you are, you know, it's like, so I think that's the one thing that it kind of makes me chuckle when I hear people having these big conversations around bias and AI. Is bias is exponentially, or AI is exponentially less biased currently and getting less biased as we move forward than our own managers are right now. And even ourselves, like, you know, let's not kid. We all have our own kind of biases. And so to me, that's one that's irrelevant, you know?
So what's realistic for HR to be prepared for in the next couple of years when it comes to AI transformation, really in the HR industry, would you say?
Yeah, the realistic kind of thing, and part of this is we are a little laggard in HR to accept technology. So like I think the big HCM systems that are out there really understand that. So they want to make sure everything that gets launched it has been through a million, kind of filters and tests and everything. Yep. But realistically, anything that can be clicked on a keyboard, an agent can be trained to do perfect every single time. Think of every single process that you have, whether it's an address change, a payroll change, anything, right? An agent is going to be doing that. And you've already seen Workday came out and said they have 4 agents already. They're ready to launch. They'll have another 4 by probably sometime mid-year of just like the highest kind of activity things they see HR people doing. So automatically the big systems are going to have these. And then the voice agents are really, really like being launched like in fintech and marketing. So again, think of like other like functions are faster moving than we are. So you're going to see voice agents. We already see them right already. Like you see like startups and stuff within that space, within HR and recruiting, but you're going to start to see an entire like industry of voice agents that are going to take over. So any phone call that you might make to an employee, you're going to have an AI that knows 100% of your policies inside and out, has the friendliest customer service demeanor ever, can never be shook off that. So even when the employee is angry and abusive, the person will still respond in every legal way they should, in the nice way, and get them every question they need to be answered. Like those are the things that we're going to see come out. And then again, the role of the HR person, that's the human, will be as these things get elevated and we really need kind of a deep dive human contact kind of thing. Those are going to be the things that we take over and really dig into. So it's going to give us much more time on those outliers.
Yeah. Another comment came in, Bob. Exactly. Continuous monitoring for adverse impact at scale is why AI can actually help us be more human centric and fair.
Yeah, if you knew, right, that you had an employee that was going off the deep end and getting ready to do, a workplace shooting or even harm themselves.
Yeah.
AI can right now at a pretty good high percentage point out those individuals that are real close. Well, wouldn't you want to know that as an HR person and as a manager of that person to go and help that person immediately, right?
Right.
And so like there's a lot of that stuff out there that we're going to see that I think is some really cool things for AI.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, geez, with how managers interact with their team and have constructive meetings and have an agenda and have things that they are already aware that is an issue, but then they know that it's got to be addressed. I think just the interaction between a manager and an employee using the right technology and AI is going to make their lives easier because let's face it, everyone in a managerial role at some point was not a manager and they had to learn to be a better manager. It just doesn't happen.
Quite frankly, we're terrible at developing managers still today. Like we just say, you're the best performer. Here's the keys. You're now the manager. What? That's still the vast majority of how managers get promoted.
Exactly. And that's, again, I had a guy on a couple of weeks ago. He was talking about coaching and coaching in HR. And, you want to make sure that the person you're promoting wants it, that they want to be a manager, obviously they will make more money potentially and career growth, whatever. But like, just because they were great in their job does not mean they're going to be a great manager. And that's what every organization's probably made those decisions. And it's
the biggest failure of leadership is that we just take high performers and throw them in as managers because they want the next pay increase, not that they want to be a manager. And then we're shocked that they're terrible managers, right?
Yeah. So what are some things, and I answer this, but I want to hear your feedback. What should HR professionals not use AI for? Primarily compliance issues and things, how to fire people. That's probably not something that you get from AI. I've seen what it spits out and, I don't know.
Yeah. I think anything that has to have really high levels of compassion and empathy are still those things that are difficult because it's not human, right? It's technology. Right. It still struggles with some of that.
Right.
It can play a role. So if its only role is to be compassionate or empathetic, probably, you can have a bot that is really good at that. If the only role is to be upbeat and energetic and interview candidates, you can create that. It's when it has to be all of those things that I think there's the struggle, right? Of what that might be. You can imagine, and again, I've tested and played with some of these, like, the interview screening robots, right? They're amazing when everything goes right.
Right.
But when, all of a sudden you're a candidate and you go, you know what, you're right. Like, I'm not right for this role. I'm going to kill myself. Immediately, the bot doesn't really know how to respond. When an HR person would immediately jump in and go, whoa, hey, come on now. Like, and you would have to go through and, like, hey, this is not, that's not what I was saying. And like, whatever, like, you misinterpreted what, like, you would try to walk that person back a little,
right,
where the bot might just go, okay, well, then if you don't think it's the right role, and just get you off. And you're like,
right.
What just happened? Not to say that actually, does happen, because a lot of them are really good now about understanding some of that language, and they would go, you know what, I'm going to have my partner, here at XYZ company call you directly. Can you hold on just a moment, right? Or bring them in like real person, real time. So I get it. I think there's some of that. I don't know if we know that yet. If we know what AI shouldn't do.
Yeah.
And because we don't know what it could do. Right. Yeah. So we're still at that stage of kind of determining all of those cool things,
Yeah. Yeah. Bob added, don't outsource your critical thinking. Don't let AI make talent decisions on its own. Be transparent about how, when, and where you're using AI. I think that's
what I do think, like, the decision-making process of who we bring in, and did your crazy match our crazy, and cultural stuff and all that. Right. I think we're going to go way deeper into that, because right now I could argue with Bob that AI could 100% select better talent than what humans do across the board statistically. And I've seen like some beta stuff where they've done 100 hires with AI and 100 hires then on their traditional way. And the AI always has higher tenure and higher productivity in their hires. And so you go, well, wait a minute. Now, do they miss maybe some outliers of like top performers, stuff like that? Like, that's where I go, I think we'll dig in, more. I think you'll see HR people screening more. We'll see longer interviews. We'll dig in. Like, I just think we're going to go way deeper on some of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I think just the experience of applying for a job has changed. I think it's going to continue to change. And I think when people are applying for jobs, they are looking for a job now. They don't want to wait 2-3 months potentially to get a new job. Some will, if they're not, if they're being the ones getting contacted from a headhunter or somebody, and they're not necessarily looking for a job, consistently every day, then, but yeah, I mean, it's just gonna continue to change. So the one big ethical AI problem in HR is HR's responsibility to save human jobs. That's a big question.
It's a head of HR. Like, as AI gets implemented, you're going to have the money people coming going, okay, we need to cut some heads. And then at the end of the day, is part of HR saving human work, or is it to help the business stakeholders make more money?
Yeah.
That's a tough question that I think everyone's going to have to answer.
Yeah.
And even like for companies and executives, it's beyond an HR question. The ethical question is what do we do, for human work? Is it our job to save human work, or, figure out what the next level of human work is? We keep talking, like, the AI companies love to say this. They're like, oh, well, if you use AI, it allows your employees to do higher level work, higher level. And then you ask them, what's the higher level work?
Yeah.
They don't have an answer. So you're telling them you're going to put in AI so employees can do work that you have no idea what that work is, and neither do they. It gets back to that original question. That's the question we should be asking. What is higher level work, and how do we implement it, and what's the value to the organization?
Yeah, I think the one piece of a culture and environment and HR's involvement in that, I think it's the recognition and praise that you get as a staff member from your manager, from your team, and that human element of that. Really, I don't see that being replaced by AI. When someone comes up to you, face to face and tells you, thank you for helping a client out. You did a great job on this project, gives you a high five. And, that person's day might have just gotten way much better than it was. So just that human element of recognition.
Yeah.
And so if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, I want to use more AI, I want to use more AI. And, I'm in HR and, I've got to build a better culture. Like, I would still do the little things, and I would still write handwritten thank you cards, and I would still do those things that are going to be personal and genuine to your team. So
yeah, I agree.
That I think is going to continue to be a huge element of building that kind of culture you want, especially if you're working in the office. If you're remote, you don't ever see everybody, that's a different story. But if you're in the office, like you have seen people really want still, and I am in the office with people every day, and we're figuring stuff out and we're making, things happen. And, a lot of people want that and need it. So
no doubt. Yeah. It definitely, it's not about the words. It's about a feeling that you can get from a human to human contact.
Yep.
That still becomes one of the most important things. It's that question of that, what are humans uniquely good at that AI can't replace becomes one of the big things.
Yep, exactly. Grace, right. And I think it's the same in HR. Many of the AI solutions are removing the one-on-one interaction with employees.
Yeah.
That's exactly the thing that we should be doing more of. That's a place of AI in HR. So,
yeah. And I think employees, if you would ask them like 24/7, they want access, they want answers. And 90% of the time they're fine with like an AI answer because it's all they really wanted. It's the 10% that really need that interaction, that human to human, that really want to dig in, that it might start with a simple, I have a question, I have an answer for you. When in reality, it turns into a half hour, 45-minute conversation about something that's really underlying that original question.
Yep.
That HR will be able to get more involved in. So,
yeah. And that's what we focus on where I work. I mean, we are in the world of payroll and HR. We have people. We don't have, a hotline. So you call our office and you're going to get a live person. You call our team. Every company that works with us is going to have a dedicated person. And it's like, you have that. We have the technology. We're going to build it, but we're still going to have that human element. As you have a payroll emergency happen, hey, I've got to pay this person. I messed up. How do I fix this today? It's like, I need to fix this.
Yep.
And if you're talking to AI and trying to do that, okay. If you're calling and talking to Barb on our team, it's going to get done. So yeah, the people watching live, I'm going to pull up a QR code for Tim. If you want to learn more about what Tim is doing with his business that's been around for 45 years with his family. And he was there when he was 5 years old doing the labor, doing the work. I love it. It's awesome. So love it. It's great. So yeah, any final words you want to say, Tim, or anything else that you think people need to know about AI right now? Or
no, I think just dig in, talk to your current providers, like find out what they're doing. And again, great HR doesn't have to be about AI either, right? I think it's about efficiency. It's about continuing to deliver better results, all those great things that maybe AI will help for you. Maybe it won't. Like, just figure that stuff out. People can also find me at timsackett.com, or just connect with me on like LinkedIn. So I usually respond pretty well there. So.
And you are not a life coach, just so
I am not a life coach, because in HR, we all turn into life coaches.
That's very true.
It's like automatic.
That's very true. Yep. And as my board says, champions adjust, y'all. So definitely go out, be a champion. I, really appreciate your time, Tim. This was great.
Thanks for having me. It has been amazing.
Yeah, glad to have you on. It's been nice to talk and learn more about your background and just what you're into. So anybody that's watching that wants to learn more about Tim, connect with him. And we've got a lot of fun episodes coming up on Speakeasy HR. So be sure to connect with me on LinkedIn, follow us on Facebook or YouTube, and other social media website, speakeasyhr.com. So tune in, way more episodes coming up. But Tim, it's been awesome to talk, and hopefully we'll do it again soon.
Yeah, it's great to chat. Have me on anytime.
All right. Take care, everybody.